This time on Back to Basics.
I'm a surfing coach. I teach people. I have my YouTube channel, my website, and I'm a surfer. You expect to be at this level like right away, and everybody tells you you're gonna kill it. You're gonna do so good, and you expect to be here, and then you get out and you realize that you're like below camera level. You're way down here. You're doing so bad.
Just doing my thing.
So my name is Brent Newell. I'm originally from Florida. I'm a surfer. Yeah, that's pretty much like how I define myself. Well, I've been out exactly 2 times. The first experience, I kind of put on a smile and pretended like I had fun, but it was pretty bad. I was out with my buddy and, I asked him like, hey, what do I do? And he's like, I don't know. I don't even know what I do. I just go down the mountain, And so I fell a lot and was getting people's way, and I said I had fun, but I felt horrible and I felt out of control. And everything I do and every time I do something that at least I think is good, it's a new experience, which is awesome, and it's a challenge. But I definitely feel like I'm ready to get better.
What's up, man?
What's going on, Brent?
How's it?
Good to see you.
My name's Doug Fagel. I've dedicated my career to teaching people how to snowboard and making the sport more accessible. As a coach, I tend to have a lot more questions than people expect. I want to get to know Brent, and through getting to know Brent, I can find pathways for him to really transition smoothly into snowboarding.
What do you see as your primary goal that you want to get out of today?
So I just want to be able to ride with control and just feel comfortable so I can just go out on my own.
What were some of the things that you had done that maybe you would like to avoid today?
Really, like anytime I get going, I get nervous or uncomfortable to begin because I don't have the control, so I just ended up plowing sideways. That, as well as my toe side edge, has been like a huge problem.
And did you ever have any hard falls?
Oh man, so bad.
A couple hard falls?
So bad, like just going down and it's pretty horrible.
All right, so that seems like awesome goals for today. We're gonna make sure that we can start to develop that connection to how to control the board, and then also how to avoid those hard slams. Does that sound like a mission?
Awesome, man, I'm ready.
Sweet.
Let's go.
So the biggest goals I would say for Brent would be connecting to the experience and what the mountain has to offer. To really tap into that grandiose goal is how to connect his movement. So how to teach him how to move and how to teach him how to move over top of his snowboard.
What I want to connect you with today is really how we can move, how the body movements are going to connect to creating outcomes, creating performance in the equipment. Does that sound cool? First element of rotation is just rotating the head. That way, my shoulders, hips, and knees are all in line with the board, right? So if I'm nuking straight down the mountain, I want to be like this. Now, I want to isolate the head, I'm going to isolate the hips, I'm going to rotate my shoulders. So don't let your head or your hips move, okay? So I just want to feel that rotation. Yeah, there we go. Feel that spinal twist. So from here, I've got a ton of energy. It's potential energy. I'm not releasing that energy yet. That separation is how I can start to anticipate, right? I can start to set up a spin, set up a turn. Okay, now isolate the head, isolate the shoulders, and just rotate the hips. Keep the shoulders perfectly still. The pressure change in the boot, this is the first element of rotation when we went down the line that actually is creating an effect in the boot. So control in our snowboard comes from my body putting energy into the boots, which go into the bindings, into the board, and into the snow. So you can see that this up here hadn't connected to the snow. It wasn't until I rotated the hips. So now I can feel how, okay, I'm gonna lock my hips, I'm gonna rotate my head and shoulders together, but keep my hips stable. So that's that, okay, I wanna start a new turn, maybe I wanna turn that way. I can be anticipated that direction, but I don't really start turning until that action happens in the hips. So try lock the hips, just rotate the head with the shoulders. There you go. Nice. So now, just rotate the feet underneath the body. Start out by just looking at me this way. All right, there you go. And then rotate the legs and back. And rotate them here and back. Now, keep the feet planted and just rotate the hips. Don't move the arms yet, just rotate the hips. Let the head and shoulders be a product of the hips. Nice. When you do that, be careful of tucking the knee. Tucking the knee will put you not in a very powerful position. If my knee's out here and I rotate like this, now I've got more ability to create torque. How's that feel so far?
It's very, very foreign.
So rotation, while we call it one range of motion, it's essentially rotating out of the spine. There's a lot of variations to it. So as we go, we'll connect to when and where we use these elements of rotation.
You know, I didn't expect the lesson to go the way it did. We spent a lot of time just in flatland. We spent probably a majority of the time in flatland going through movements and things like that, which I didn't really expect that. I expected just to be like going on the mountain and be like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this right, you do this better, you don't need to do this as much. So it was definitely not what I expected. I guess I can compare it to like when I teach people with surfing. Sometimes I end up, you know, if they come with their first day ever, we spend a lot of time away from the beach, away from the water, going over movements, you know, simple movements, and kind of going through the motions on dry land, just so that it's set in their mind.
I think when I look at someone's first day of riding, I want to make sure that they can start to build an element of comfort and an element of stability on the board. So to do that, I tend to go through a lot of different tasks, and those tasks are all about getting people the comfort and the ability to move even before they strap into their board. The last thing I want people to do is the first day they're on their board feel like they're frozen statues and scared to move. You know, there's all sorts of other types of anxiety and fears that are able to affect people's first day. You know, for that first day, it's really, I do a lot of different exercises, but it's just so that people understand, hey, this is movement, this is what we can do, and this is how those movements relate to snowboarding.
Coming from a background of surfing, wakeboarding, skateboarding, these what are supposed to be similar board sports, you expect to be at this level like right away. And everybody tells you, you're gonna kill it, you're gonna do so good. And you expect to be here, and then you get out and you realize that you're like below camera level, you're way down here. You're doing so bad. You just have no control. You have no idea really what's going on, you know, to try and accomplish these tasks, which I thought in my mind would be easier. It was really challenging. And I was really tired really quick. You know, I was like, I'm an athlete. I think I am. And yeah, I just did not meet my own expectations on that first day. And I felt like, you know, everybody's like snickering, like, okay, look at that guy.
I really wanted to not only go through the ranges of motion, but for myself as a coach and just starting to work with Brent, I really wanted to make sure that I knew how he responded, both to tasks that I was assigning him, but also specifically to how he moved, how his body moved, what things I could expect, you know, and not really saying, hey, this is right or wrong, but for me, understanding that when he flexes, what happens to his femur? You know, what happens within the leg at a very finite level? You know, he's got experience surfing, so where is he carrying over that muscle memory, as we call it? You know, the pathways through the muscles up into the brain. How has he actually developed those things? So I wanted to get a lot of that's going through those range of motion for him, but it's also going through those ranges of motion for me, so that I have an expectation and I start to understand when I ask him to do something, how much of it he's gonna do, you know, what that response is gonna be like. If we can connect to the personality and connect people to the real experience of learning how to connect with the mountains and explore the mountains, then for us, I think we're all a win. Either way, Brent's gonna end up, you know, getting some great coaching this winter.
Next time on Back to Basics.
For me, a lot of those exercises, a lot of, I want to teach you 180s, I want to give you some of these cool little tasks. It's to connect people to where they can go with snowboarding.
After just one day of just focus on that one little aspect, made a huge difference.